All right, NAIA football fans, Corey Thorpe here, back with another edition of the NAIA Ball Live Show, powered by Adcraft, custom apparel and merch. Absolutely the best in the industry since 1974, and the gang is all here tonight. We actually get to show off our new look, where Matt gets to go and fill the whole bubble over there. So, looking good, Matt. How's it going? You've got a fair start over there, don't you?
Yeah. This week was fun. Not fun for what I thought was going to happen for a lot of things that I talked about. So not a hot start for me there, but like overall, very fun week of football. It's nice to just be back and like we're all playing football again, having a good time. So two thumbs up from me. Ready to talk about it.
Absolutely. Some phenomenal games. Let's jump right into it. First off, playing on the Thursday night, Texas Wesleyan and Lindsey Wilson getting after it. Texas Wesleyan takes this win at home 34-24. Matt, this was one where Texas Wesleyan jumped out to a good lead, and try as Lindsey could, they just quite couldn't claw back.
Yeah, it was a really impressive effort from Texas Wesleyan. They just like every phase of the game it was executed so well, like on all phases of the game. They did such a good job just staying level-headed. You know, Lindsey Wilson would punch back that second quarter. Obviously, they scored 21 of their 24 points. Easy to get flustered from that, but they come out from halftime and defense holds it down. The offense does what they need to do, and it's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to feel okay if you're Lindsey Wilson's defense. You allowed only enough points to actually win the game for you, but those two pick sixes on offense killed you. But you know, it like you said, Tex West, or as the cheerleaders say, Tex West, we're firing on all three aspects of the game, where Lindsey was falling a little short on the offensive side. I feel like they'll get it. They'll get it together, though. The season's young yet, trying to figure out who they're going to have at quarterback. Reed Brickey was just the more notable of the two in terms of the production, especially with those two interceptions that were pick sixes.
Yeah, not ever really a good time to throw two of those in one game, let alone back to back.
Yeah. Now the next game, also on a Thursday night, started out kind of tight. Then Dickinson State said, "Nah, bruh, this one's ours."
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan Dahlgren with 6 tackles and 4.5 of those being sacks. That'll do.
That'll definitely do, especially when Madler over there, is completing 11 passes for a touchdown and 141 yards. And also helps when you're just kind of lobbing 3 of those for big plays with CJ Stinson, as he had a great day as well.
And look, I mean, Rocky did not play terribly. I mean, Graydon Buell was over there almost going 3 bills himself. Joseph Dwyer getting about half of those by himself. But, man, that third and fourth down conversion rate it's just not going to get it done for you. That Dickey defense was able to rise to the challenge.
Absolutely. And Dickinson State looking like the cream of the crop in this conference already once again.
And then the game that was just the cherry on top for Thursday night, Montana Tech pulls the upset. Hinchman's going to be super happy. If he's in the chat, I am 100% certain that he is going to litter our chat with Montana Tech emojis and emoticons and all that stuff. My guy was super excited. I mean, I would be too. I mean, you forced Garrick Slunaker to throw 4 picks. You did a great job on defense. Jaden Downs with 3 picks, one of those being a pick 6. Lander Smith was crazy all night. 2 bills from the running back position. Made it where Blake Thielen didn't have to be special, but he was good enough.
And it also, we talked about Georgetown in the preseason about the quarterback position. Yeah, 4 interceptions is just not going to do it for you. And granted, like Georgetown's defense still did what they could, but giving up 200 yards on the ground to one guy is just not going to help you out that much. Darius Neal, for the most part, was contained. He still had a decent day for Georgetown, but he didn't have those, you know, he averaged, what is that, 4.7 yards a carry or something like that?
That sounds about right.
He had an okay day, but he wasn't, breaking records or anything, like we've seen before.
And all of that being said, it still took Montana Tech until like the 42nd mark. Georgetown had taken the lead in the last minute of the game, in the last minute and a half of the game.
Yeah.
And you still had to have a heroic drive to take the lead. Look, like I said, for an opening night offering, this was exactly what we had hoped for.
12 seconds left in that, back corner, right? It was in the back corner.
Yep.
Oh.
It's fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely fantastic. But that wasn't all, because we had more fun on Saturday with Evangel, still perfect in the KCAC, hangs on against K-Dub. K-Dub comes out fast. Evangel evens it up, takes the lead. Brock Lyle getting KCAC Offensive Player of the Week with 7 receptions, 157 yards, and 3 scores. But it's really hard to win when your defense is giving up 71% of third and fourth down conversions.
Yeah, there are a lot of stats that will tell the story in football, and third and fourth down conversions, for the most part, do a good job, especially in this case when you're comparing 71 to 35, quite literally half of, the percentage. Potts to Lyle looks like one of the deadliest connections in the NAIA this year already after one game, which good for them, man. Evangel is in such a fun spot as a program, especially with how they kind of came up last year and surprised a lot of people, and they're looking good.
Yeah, good. It's just like we said with Georgetown, with a lot of how Georgetown goes is going to hinge on the quarterback position. We said the exact same words with Evangel. You've got to replace your all-world quarterback. If you're able to do that at least a reasonable level, you're going to be okay. And it looks like you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. More than okay.
But then the Thanksgiving feast of the night, the game that served up delectable offense and amazing defense. Well, maybe not amazing defense. Delectable offense. All game long. Benedictine Morningside. What an absolute pleasure of a game this was to watch. I mean, back and forth. And Matt, I don't know if you caught the 2-point conversion that Morningside did, where you ran the reverse to Lennox Brown, who then threw it. Yes, that is wide receiver Lennox Brown now. No, not quarterback Lennox Brown, but did get a pass off and got the 2-point conversion. This is, look, if Benedictine's going to beat Morningside and Morningside looks as good as they did, this Ravens team has extreme potential.
Yeah. Also kind of, look, all right, don't know who in our poll had Morningside won. I have no idea who that could be. Just a crazy thing. But Morningside still looked pretty good. Granted, the quarterback stats from our buddy Zach, very much emptying the clip when you're passing for 60 attempts in any game. But man, want to talk about airing it out. That's joke. Like Brett Favre numbers right there. You know what I mean? Like,
no joke.
And that was the position we were not sure was going to get production. Like, I know your completion percentage isn't where you'd want to be, and those 3 interceptions do hurt you, but you've proven you can last in an offensive shootout with the position group that you were worried about.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know where Steve Ryan was going to go with
Hmm.
the quarterback position. He did state to us pretty plainly in our offseason interview that it was down to him finding one guy, and that he admitted to it being his mistake for the last couple of years running dual quarterbacks and not being able to pick one. You run with Chevalier all game. Chevalier looked really good in the playoffs too, for that matter.
Hmm.
And you still find a place for Lennox, because Lennox is a dang good athlete. I
Yeah,
think that was your biggest thing, was where do I fit Lennox in to an offense and get him as many touches as possible. I think you've succeeded there.
absolutely. I mean, he went for more than 10 yards a catch and 122 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. That'll do. That'll do for a guy who's throwing the rock literally like 6 months ago.
Yep, absolutely. But man, Benedictine is absolutely one to watch out for. Before we go on
Yes.
any further here, want to talk about our buddy Connor Darnell doing a great job with our graphics package this year. Absolutely loving the look that he has made for us. And whether it is our media poll and designing that, making sure our socials look good, making sure our player of the week and getting swag out with some bag tags to our players of the week. Yeah, our players of the week actually are going to get a little piece of hardware to hang there to prove that they were in fact player of the week. He does it all: schedules, recruitment, uh, graphics. He is amazing. So hit him up, Connor Darnell Designs. Thank you for sponsoring effectively our graphics package and what we do here at NAIF Ball and making us look good. So let's just do a quick review of the media poll. This is not going to have changed from last week. So we had 14 out of our 33 teams on bye, and it really didn't quite feel fair to say we're gonna judge 3/5 of the NAIA teams on what we've seen on the field in 1 week, and then 2/5 we're going to judge on preseason. So we're gonna wait till next week until pretty much everyone will have played. But just to look at it, I feel that I feel that we got it fairly right. I mean, some of the placement, no, but the fact that we have Tex West in is honestly phenomenal, because you saw the way they played against Lindsey.
Hmm.
We've got Friends at 21. We've got Mid American Nazarene in at 24, places where you can grow. You've got a Dickinson State team at 11 that felt really good, and you've got Benedictine at 15. I think they'll rise from there. Obviously, haven't taken down 6, but honestly, Matt, we haven't gotten to get your takes on the poll since we did a solo show last week. But just kind of walk me through some of it here.
I think our media poll did a great job. I think as a unit, we did a great job putting this together. I just, with the NAIA poll that they put out, I don't know how you don't include Texas Wesleyan on there, in my opinion. Like, I know with the head coach thing, and it's first, I don't care. They have so many returners. Like, on paper, they are so already there, and they just went out and proved it last week. It's I'm glad we included them. I think they're going to be, obviously, after beating 9, they're going to be much higher. But I think this is a top 15 Texas Wesleyan team. I'm excited to see where Mid American Nazarene can rise, because I think that 20-25 range is good for them. But they could play up. Concordia from Michigan was also kind of the one that stood out this
Yeah.
week. We didn't get the chance to talk about their game, but much more flat than we were anticipating from them, unfortunately. Um, so it's interesting. I'm excited to see where Montana Tech ends up after their game against Georgetown. And what does that mean for the Frontier? It's just like everybody in the Frontier that good now? Are we going to have a 4-way tie at the top with like between 2 lost teams? Is that how it's going to work? I don't know. It's exciting.
Yeah, honestly, looking back at at it after 1 week, I think Concordia might be the only one that we might have been a little overblown on in terms of belonging. And obviously, the season's still young, and they can absolutely bounce back after their opening loss to Olivet Nazarene,
Totally.
who could absolutely be a team in their own right that is worthy of a top 25. But yeah, I think if you put a Nerf gun to my head, one of them powerful ones that will leave a mark. One of them Walmart brand ones that'll leave a mark. I would say that would be for me the one that we may have gotten wrong. But that one was also one that I didn't feel great about coming into the season. Were they gonna be able to ride the emotional high, or were they gonna be a team that looked like a final year team?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we will hear a word from our friends at Adcraft.
So you want to create and sell custom merch for your team or business. That's exciting, but where do you begin? How much inventory should you order? How do you distribute orders? Adcraft has your answers. Streamline the way you offer custom merch by utilizing our risk-free web store service. We ship directly to each customer, and we have the fastest turnaround in the game. Raise funds for your team or get merch to your employees and patrons. Contact Adcraft today, and let's bring your merch to life.
That is exactly what they do. They are so good at it, and they handle everything for you. That's not terribly common apparently around the nation for companies like this, where they're going to handle the customer service. They're going to handle the shipment. They're going to handle printing all the labels, doing it for you so you can get and do the things that you need to do. You're busy enough. If you're an NAIA coach, you're busy running 20 other things because you have an NAIA-sized staff. Let Adcraft bring a D1 feel to your NAIA graphics. Contact them. Web stores are fantastic. If you want an introduction, let me know. I can definitely help make that introduction. Send that email to get our guys in contact with you. So let's take a look at our players of the week. And defense was a little harder than offense, honestly. Offensively, the guy sort of stood out this week, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think just a little bit. 387 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Oh, did we lose Matt? No?
Oh.
Maybe? There you are.
Hey, sorry, internet is being bad.
Yeah, you're saying 5 touchdowns, 387 yards.
Yeah, on 16 catches. It's baffling.
I mean, I think every part of that is honestly baffling. Like, there is not one of those 3 stats that I look at and I go, that's a human number. Like, 16 receptions. Like, at some point, you kind of have to bracket him and give, like, immediate safety help.
You'd think.
But the fact that he got 387 yards on that, it's not like this is 16 receptions, 200 yards. This is like 24 yards per snag.
Look, we talked about Gerald Monroe in the preseason as being a game changer, but I don't even think we expected this to be the first thing we saw from him. Like, this is player of the year territory. This is like human cheat code territory. How do you guard this guy? How do you bracket this guy? If you double cover him, who else is open in that receiver core? Like,
yeah, I mean, and so I'm sitting here looking. My thing is, let's see. They play Grandview. They do. Last game of the year.
Oh my God.
I'm just sitting here going, that will be prime time must watch TV because I want to see how that Grandview defense handles Gerald Monroe. That's phenomenal. And Henchman coming in, getting that roll Diggs. He deserves it. Great game. Defensively, I think we had a great pick. It was harder because there were 3 good options. We had the guy
Yeah.
with 4.5 sacks. We had a guy with 3 picks. But in terms of what Jack Fitzgerald did from a defensive back position, you're talking a linebacker's numbers: 10 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss, a forced fumble, a pick. Unfortunately, it's not enough as Siena Heights does drop that week 1 to Taylor. But if not for Jack Fitzgerald, Taylor's blowing it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like single-handedly dragging that defense along with him. Being able to fill the box and not just be a problem in coverage as a DB, such a valuable skill, and being able to have such a well-rounded numbers like that is just a testament to your own capabilities. Like, especially like you said, it's linebackers stat numbers. Like you look at that and you're like, oh, that's a guy playing in the middle of the field and like doing everything.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Siena Heights folks, if you're watching, hit me up. I need to get an address so we can send out some swag to y'all and recognize that performance from Jack. Now, it's a little bit less of a what to watch for. We've got a lot of games here that are your traditional openers, but there are still a few games that are going to be really interesting to watch. St. Thomas gets rained out. They get 5 plays in against Fort Lauderdale. Too much lightning, too much thunder. They're going to try to reschedule that game against Fort Lauderdale, but they go and play a Louisiana Christian team that we're not quite sure how they're going to look. That should be interesting.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot about them from that game. And Georgetown having to bounce back against a very good Pikeville team.
A Pikeville team that is also bouncing back. Who is going to be able to actually do it? And who is going to make 1 loss into 2?
Yeah, it's going to be very telling for the rest of their season. Like, literally make or break. Like, you can snowball very easily in the wrong direction after that game. Montana Tech and Carroll, too. That's going to be a really fun one. Get to see Carroll in action. Did they played last week?
No, they did not. Now, here's the fun thing for Tech. That was a big emotional win against Georgetown. And you have Carroll, who does not give a singular crap that you beat Georgetown. Carroll does not care, and they are looking to steamroll you. They do not want to be in the receiving votes. They are NAIA royalty. They deserve to be at number 1. This is a Carroll team who I do believe is going to be out for blood and is going to try to revenge tour everything on their way up to the top of the frontier where they rightfully belong. How does Montana Tech respond?
Yep.
And then we get an early season Sooner Conference possible decider on week 2?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Honestly, it's just backwards. You know, where Tex West has come through and had a big emotional win against Lindsey Wilson. Ottawa, Arizona could not care less. It's at their place, just like it's at Carroll's place. How is Tex West going to bounce back and go 1-0 or attempt to go 1-0? Or is Ottawa going to say, I don't care what you did last week, here's your L? A couple other ones that I'll bring up that we should probably also talk about, but I didn't write them down. Kaiser playing at North Greenville, D2 squad. And then I don't know, I really hope there's a paid stream. Bethel versus Mary Hardin Baylor.
That's what I'm looking forward to. That one's going to be really fun. I think also, I do also want to shout Morningside at Concordia. Concordia this week looked very strong, albeit against a weak opponent, but they looked dominant. I'm curious to see with Concordia, Nebraska hosting that, how that one goes for Morningside.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Concordia of Nebraska really getting it done. I swear, every time their quarterback throws a touchdown, he's just rewriting his own record. He is like, Matt, do you remember on old NCAA 14, you get to the end of your senior year, and just every time you throw a touchdown, you'd set a new record?
Yep.
IRL, this guy. Let's see. Langston's playing Central Oklahoma. That's a D2. They're playing there. That's another one to shout out. Friends looked really good. They play Ottawa of Kansas. That's going to be. Ottawa took that L and didn't look particularly fantastic. See how they pick it up. Benedictine William Penn might actually be a really good game as well. Again, big emotional win for Benedictine versus a William Penn team who is looking to grind you into itty bitty tiny pieces and not let your offense touch the ball at all. Let's see if there's anything. Kansas Wesleyan at Bethany. That is a rivalry. I really hate calling that a rivalry. I'm so sorry, Bethany. But until you can win a game against Kansas Wesleyan, I just can't call that a rivalry with any sort of straight face.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is the year.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is the year.
And Defiance. Defiance gets their NAIA start here against Concordia. That'll be a good one there. Dickinson State at Mayville State. We'll see how good Tim Salmon is because he got hurt last week.
We have rivalry football next week. Dakota Wesleyan, Mount Marty. Mount Marty looked really good, and Dakota Wesleyan did not. So
yeah, how'd that D-Dub game go for you, Matt? That rivalry game last week.
Look, the 4 years that I played there, and we played them, we would lose. But that I've never seen us lose that bad. It was rough.
It's a rebuilding year, Matt. Had a really great year last year. It's a rebuilding year. I have to cut him some slack.
We'll see.
Hey, but
TBD.
I tell you what, though, who has not been cutting any slack has been our patrons. As the list gets longer, and I love it. Make me change my font size. I dare you. I dare you that you won't make me change my font size. Let's check the comments real quick. Yeah, so that is the QR code there for our Patreon. Thank you to the folks who have signed up. We so appreciate it. We know that in this economy, even $1, $3, man, that is you doing that means a lot to us. We understand what's going on outside of football, and so we are so very thankful for what you're able to do. And our patrons are DSU Cone, Bob Boone, Roger Meyer, Jeremy Vobble, Fred Christensen, Jerry Quickle, Ace Wellen, Brett, Marty Seabolt, Nick Ryan, Hayden Ferrigno, Kyle Gregory, Tyler Pierce, Justin Hoffman, Steve Speakman, Brian Shake, Julianne Shager, Nate Soapbeer, Stephen Cutler, Julie Lout, Dale Norton, Nathan Moore, Ryan, Jason Crawford, Charles A. Flowers, Todd Nick, Sean Chamberlain, Zach Lance, Josue Trujillo, Casey Willison, Carol C. Suggs, Chris Hinchman, 21, and Derek Lowers. Thank y'all so very much. Let's see, Matt, we got a couple of comments here. I know we got talk about the Aggies of OPSU had a
big win.
Had a big win there. It was, was watching that, keeping up with that. It's nice.
Brandon Stevens, man.
Dude.
Brandon Stevens. That kid's good.
Now, I tell you.
3 touchdowns through the air. 1 through the ground.
Southwest Baptist, though, coming up. Great Lakes team. That's going to be That's going to be a toughie for you. Let me see. I haven't even actually. Let's take a look at our SP Plus for D2 and see where Southwest Baptist is. Let's see. 120th out of 163. That could be a team that you sneak up on. Let's see if they're what's on their schedule that they're thinking about. Maybe if you can find one. Ooh, they just got done with Black Hills State and they play Upper Iowa. You honestly might be able to sneak one on them.
There you go.
But honestly, the big one for you in a few weeks is hosting Texas Wesleyan. You want to make a name for yourself, go upset Texas Wesleyan, and folks are going to be in a little bit of shock. Hinchman bringing up Downs with his 3 picks, a semifinalist or a finalist for our defensive player of the week. Yeah, Hinchman, that was one of those 3 that I listed. I actually throw it out there on our Discord. So if you're not a member of our Discord, it is free. You don't have to be a patron to join our Discord. Because we want a good community of NAIA guys that are able to get on there and talk ball. I tossed all 3 of my finalists out there and said, here's the reactions. Y'all give me some votes. Who y'all think is gonna win? Matt, you were our deciding vote there because it was tied 2-2 when I closed the very informal poll. But yeah, I mean, it's come behind the scenes, even if you're not able to be a patron, come behind the scenes and just talk ball. It is absolutely the best place to be for NAIA football. Heck, we've even got some of our media guys in there, whether it's James from Champion Sports Net, or sometimes I see our buddy Joey in there from MidwestSports.net in there. So, yeah, look, it's the place to be. It's a happening place for NAIA football. Montana Tech at Carroll, Ottawa at Tex West, absolutely a great week in Sooner and Frontier football. Matt, you got anything else before we call it a night?
I think I'm good. A lot of good football, and I'm ready for more of it.
Absolutely.
As easy as that.
Yeah. There's still some out-of-conference games to be played, figuring out who's who. We've had a couple of surprises. A little bit of they are who we thought they were. But I think let's get out of September, and we're going to really have a good idea of who our top 25 are, and even more so who's going to be jockeying in for a playoff spot.
Absolutely.
So then we will be back this time next week for another edition of the NAIF Ball Show, powered by Adcraft, custom apparel and merch. We will see y'all on the Twitter feed. That was good. I think that actually did better than my preview show did.
Nice.